Turn around. Ignore it. All right, have a seat. Have a seat. Okay, first thing is, your bell ringer today is a little bit different.
Again?
Everybody's got an electronic device on you. You got one sitting right in front of you. All right, if you have your electronic device with you at this time, go ahead and pull it out. I want you to log into todaysmeet.com. The actual website that you need to log into is up on the board.
I have bad Wi-Fi in there.
Okay, if you don't have one, that's fine. You're going to partner up with somebody who does, but not right this minute. I want you to go to that website. Folks, listen up. I want you to go to that site, log in, use your last name when you log in so that I can see who's talking up on the board and all that kind of stuff. That is the end. You just www.todaysmeet.com/USHISTB. And I want you to log on there now. We're going to use it later on in the class. I'm going to have you actually answer some things while we're talking through there. It just makes it easier for me to see who's answering first rather than trying to get people to raise hands and everything. So it's just easier for me because I'm older. Got it? While you're doing that, I'll get attendance out of the way.
Shut up.
No, just put your last name in there. That's fine. Jacob, please come in and shut the door.
I'm actually getting reception.
Come on, shut the door. I'm going to pull up the site here in a second, that way you guys will be able to see it. Russell.
No, I got the number. Yeah.
Devin.
Yeah, they're up to be right and forward.
Is it just US HISTB?
Yes.
Yeah, this ain't go home.
What?
Yeah, but you're passing them all.
I passed Spanish. I passed English. Passed English. Passed math.
I'm going to send this class.
Now we lovely fluff that up. Hey, I've lost your store privileges. Like this? You've lost your store. No, that's trying to break me out of my map. Yeah, if you called me again.
Go ahead and just partner up and see if it's having a little bit better. Yeah, I'm going to put it up on the screen so you guys can see it.
So we're going to put the name in there?
Hold on, I'm going to show you.
Should be right there.
Okay, here we go. Some people have been able to... Folks, have a seat, please. Up on the screen is the actual site. Todaysmeet.com. You can see some of the people, some of you have already been able to get in here. When you pull it up, you have to have www.todaysmeet.com/USHISTB. And then when you pull that up, it'll ask you if you want to join us. You know, you say you type in the name that you want it under, and you hit join, and then you'll be able to type in and put it up on the screen. Okay. Is there anybody else who's having an issue getting on?
Technically.
Technically?
Just have no Wi-Fi.
All right. If you're having a problem getting on, get with somebody around you that has already been able to get on.
Hey, y'all.
Okay. All right. First things first. Okay. First question. First question. Guys, from yesterday. What is, we're going to do a little bit of a review. We're going to talk about some of the things we talked about yesterday. We talked about writing a paper. Folks, listen up. What is the first thing that you have to do? What is the first piece of your paper that you're going to be writing?
Intro.
Type it in. First piece of paper on the paper you're going to be writing in.
My little conspiracy.
What else? There we go. All right. So the first part you're going to be doing is your intro and your thesis. You guys working on that together? All right. So if we're doing intro and thesis, what is our thesis? What does a thesis do? What is a thesis supposed to do?
Where you arguing?
That you're saying.
On board, guys.
What
You're supposed to be hooked up with somebody who does.
Okay.
Could you repeat your question?
What is the purpose of a thesis? What is a thesis supposed to do?
To get your point across.
State your points, claim a position, state the main idea, state your opinion. Nate.
That boy, Nate.
Alright, so remember, when we're doing our intro and our thesis, you want to make sure, what's the first part of your introduction that you're going to have? What do we call that? We talked about that yesterday. What do you have to have? The first part of your introduction.
A hook.
Yes, you're right. There we go. Nathan's got the spot today.
He does.
Alright. So, our hook, remember we talked about our hook. We want to grab the attention of the reader. Then introduction is we're giving an overview of what our paper is about. And our introduction is a statement telling people what our paper, what our point is. Remember, this is an argumentative paper, so we're telling them whether we believe that the programs we're talking about are good or whether they're not good in comparison to the Great Depression. So what's the next part of our paper? Next part of the paper. Buddy. Ah. We have a new
That's me. That's us.
No.
Should have been me.
We have a new game player.
Should have been. I would have typed it in before you said it. I knew what you were going to ask.
New game player.
I thought you have to finish the thesis before you get to the
Now,
first place.
in the body, where do we get the pieces for our body? Where do we get it from?
Article. Oh, shit.
Where do we get the pieces for our body?
So should I like not answer about?
First paragraph. I'm not seeing it yet.
I just sent it. Me too.
Should I not answer that?
Oh, this is.
But get with somebody who's got one of the devices on. I really want to do
Okay,
this.
I
over
said it out loud.
here. Supporting. There it is. Adams.
We had the okay.
You get it from. Remember, you're getting it from your thesis, your introduction and your thesis. Okay. All right. Now, this is something, folks. Listen up. This is something that we want to work on today, and this is. I'm going to give you an exercise here in a second. When we move, Lizzie, if we have 3 paragraphs in our body, which we talked about, we're going to have, right? If we have 3 paragraphs in our body, put it away.
What?
Is that you?
No. I'm out there as the gory.
He's
laughing
because
she showed me it and said that somebody just put it there.
All right. So when we're talking about doing our body, we're going to have 3 paragraphs. When we do our paragraphs, are we just going to talk about one subject, stop, and then pick up another spot, another piece? Very good. We're going to use transitions when we go from one piece to the next. Okay? And that's what I want to talk about before we do our reading today. Today is a very short reading. Yeah, we're done with that. Yes.
Did you receive my yesterday?
Yes, I did. Okay, well, I
I'm
did.
under it as the Lord.
Okay, looking up here, I want to talk about this first transition. When we talk about the transition, we looked at this paper yesterday where it talks about some of the work. In the first paragraph, many people in the U.S. during the Great Depression lost all trust in the banks. And I'm just going to skip to the last couple of sentences. To ensure this, FDR turned the radio into the first of many fireside chats, convinced the American people the crisis was over and that their deposits were safe. Knowing this, the people felt a lot more comfortable with the banks, and they began to put their money back into the banks. Now, the beginning of the second paragraph. Along with lost trust in banks, people started to lose their jobs and companies began to lose their money from the crash of the stock market. Is that a good transition? How can we make it better? Okay. Do we want to make a statement? We want to look at making a statement from the paragraph we're leaving into the paragraph we're going into.
Relevant from the first one back to the
Exactly.
And then you just slide into it. You don't want to just fall straight down into it.
Perfect. That's exactly right. So we want to make our transition so that we're leaving off with a sentence that leads us into the next piece. And that's exactly what we want to do. Okay? Does anybody have a question on what a transition is? All right. Our objectives today, our learning objectives, is you should be able to, when we do our reading, you're going to be able to identify pro or con writing style and be able to identify any biases that may be in the article, just like we talked about yesterday. The other thing is to understand the impact of New Deal programs on issues that stem from the Great Depression. So to start this off, I have a short, all I want you to do is a short little piece, and it's on using transitions. It's just to help you get warmed up with doing that. And then we'll get started on our other piece for writing today. That's it. It's already camera's already on. Yeah.
I was just going to say,
All right, you got 2 minutes to do the exercise that's in front of you. 2 minutes. When the alarm goes off, we'll talk about the transitions.
so what we're writing about
Just,
Anything?
yeah, you can use anything as your topic, just like it says on the paper.
I missed.
Yeah, if you pay attention, it might be a little
I
easier.
was not paying attention. I was just.
Read your paper, and it tells you has exactly what you need to do on it.
Shut up, Justin. Hold on. Wow, this is a feat.
It's a light polo. What's the name of polo? It's something just like shirt. This is confusing.
All you're doing is writing transitions, examples of a transition. That's all you're doing.
So like, since the kid steals stuff, I say he pays for it and is courteous.
Well, you can come up with your own examples. I want you to come up with your own examples about anything.
Hey, man.
Maybe it's a short.
I don't know.
I have a
understand this. It makes no sense.
I have a philosophy.
Philosophy question.
So go on everything. So by everything future and past as well as the
That's the way I would interpret it. Personal opinion. Everybody would have. All right, finish up your thought.
What's the date?
Today's the 1st. Today is the 1st. About 20 seconds.
Three, one. It's a conspiracy.
Josh. Hey, whoever play Ultimate Thursday.
So we're gonna play Path of Exile.
Ultimate Pat 3 for ridiculous.
Ultimate Warrior.
For Super Nintendo.
Oh.
Gold Throwback.
Yes, I did
All right, somebody give me an example of one of theirs. Yes, sir.
My dog ate my homework, therefore I didn't do it.
Okay, all right, that's good. Yes, sir.
Jason doesn't go to the gym for some time, so soon after he gained 40 pounds and eventually died.
Okay, all right. Who else has got one for me? Go ahead, Josh.
I love education. In contrast, I hate school.
Okay, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Bob was drinking and driving. Bob got pulled over. Bob went to jail.
Okay, there we go. So when we're doing these transitions, you see you have to make the comparison, but you also, as you're doing a lead-in, and you're actually introducing your next paragraph, is what, remember that. So when you write your paper, all these article summaries we're doing, and you're getting your supporting evidence out there and everything, always look for those transitional phrases, or keep in mind, you know, what makes a very good transition or a lead into the next paragraph? What's one thing that we can almost always count on? A sequence, absolutely. What else? There's a type of thing that you might find in an article which always helps to introduce or a good lead in. What about quotes?
Reference?
Quotes or references. Those usually tend, if you can find one that you can work into it, that makes a great lead-in for the next paragraph. Okay? If you can find those inside your readings. And that's, again, we come right back to what we talked about yesterday about attention to detail when you're doing the readings and your article summaries. If you're able to pull that information out, it's going to make it a lot easier on you to find those quotes or those phrases that you can use. Yes, sir.
It's still pretty great for notice.
What's that?
It's still pretty great for notice.
Yeah, and what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and pass up those you talk about when you log into it. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead and pass up your transition sheets. Yeah. What's up?
Ace Hardware, Special Independence.
I despise the current pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great. Oh, look at that. That's not good.
Yeah.
Anybody else got papers?
Yeah.
Please make sure your names are on them so I can give you credit for your work. Please make sure your names are on, guys.
Fair Wonder He's like in the shape of a bucket of water.
All right, now, bring it back in. Bringing that, as we just got done talking about with attention to detail in your readings, that brings us to the next part of today, which, ladies, which is doing your next reading. Now, today, the reading is only 2 pages. It's a front and a back. It's a very short reading. Make sure you're taking your time on it. You got plenty of time to do it. I'm going to give you 40 minutes to do your reading and fill out your article summary sheets, because I'd like to talk about it a little bit when you're done. So, their readings and your article summaries are already in your packets. So, I'm going to go ahead and pass those out real quick. Yeah, probably. We have so little time to get into this stuff. Brandon says he's not here. Hey, Ashley. Are you going by Ashley? It's not you.
Ashley. That's Ashley. You just said Ashley. You get a last name.
I know. Sarah. Clint. Trent. Carissa. Justin. Josh. Guys, when you get your packet, begin your reading. We're going to be short on time. Austin. Russell. Jake Carey. Ashley Reese. Ladies, have a seat. It's time to go to work. Devin. Sydney. Lizzie. Kyle. Alex. And Karen. Lizzie, can you pass it to Karen? All right. Ashley, right? Sorry.
It's a badass Carhartt one.
All right, look, guys, you've got your packets. You can listen to music while you're doing your reading and your summary sheets, but the talking's got to stop. Yes.
Oh, our package.
What's that? It's down at the bottom. It's got a little asterisk next to it. That's who you use for this one.
Mr. Schwartz.
Sir.
The RG's 2 pen lit for life, and the until I had left, I was like 6. First person in my life when I left my hat in Coach Carter's and I'm home now.
Yes. Somebody's got it.
Is the name of this article referring to the
Yeah, that's the only one.
All right. The author's name, if you look down at the bottom of the front page, there's a little asterisk mark beside it. It's got the author's name in there. And it's also it also has the name of the actual article that this is from, which is 12 Years of Roosevelt. Yes. You didn't get one? I know I put one in everybody's file. Take a look, I'm sure. There it is right there.
Coach Carter. That's the one I got from the hat. That's what I got from the hat.
Justin, get to work. Yeah, let me get you one. Yes, sir. That's the author. It's down by the asterisk mark on the bottom of the front page.
Mr. Schwartz, do you have any legs?
I do not.
Justin, did you see my hat left in the Carter?
It's where I was sitting.
Yeah, it's not there now.
It's not there. It's like it's like where I was sitting.
Did you see the Artie video?
Let's go.
Guys, that's enough. Get to work. We'll get the hat later. We got work to do right now. Burke, you got 36 minutes to finish this up. I'm not going to take any excuses for you not being done. Where's your order? Okay, get reading it. Guys, remember one of the ways we talked about finding the information in the article. If you want to highlight, that's totally acceptable. Whatever helps you find the information.
So just like highlight and stuff, if you don't have to play right down.
Right, remember I said just on the bottom section there, if you're gonna highlight, just tell me how you're annotating your facts from the ordinance.
see some of you are finishing up your sheets. If you finish before the time, go ahead and bring them up so we can go over it real quick, and I can check you all for your daily grade on these. And then we'll wait for everybody else to finish up. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check them when you guys are done. So if you're done with your some reason going up.
Crack where?
Sorting the plastic yesterday. We did get 3 pages on this thing.
Internet is exciting.
Determine how to approach. It's pretty simple.
Are you stupid? I've had to do yes without having the case. I never had the case. I'm still
You highlight it.
That's so good.
That's fine. As long as you go, it's those computer users. We're going to talk for just a minute. As soon as everybody's done, I'm just going to go through a couple things. You understand the transition.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
What? Should we chopstick?
Good job, dude. That was a horrible.
Guys, don't throw stuff like that. You know. Yeah, when you guys are done with them, I'll go ahead and take your folders back. If you're done, if I've already checked your paper, I'll go ahead and take them.
I think it's illegal to take that one.
Thank you. Donka. No rush, guys. You still got time. You're still working. Continue to work. Everybody else, keep the noise down so everybody can finish up. If you finished the article from today and you did not finish 100% of the one yesterday, please, by all means, I want you to go back and look at it so you can finish those up. It'll be another short article on Monday, a front and a back as well. Highlighting, underlining.
Yes.
Did you have any problems concerning which type of article it was?
Every time I read.
Yes. Trender yelled at us.
Oh, yo.
Just go ahead. I'll go ahead and get your packet. You know what? It's don't ask, don't tell. It's none of my business, brother. That's what.
How did you do that?
I think I know it, but like, I'm not sure.
That's some strong
I know, you
stuff.
spread it right there.
You need to stop. I have a sensitive.
All over your days.
Yeah, you
Whenever you
do.
breathe, you can smell it.
Justin, you all done? Okay.
See on the, you got all this stuff.
And then I remember there was.
I write it out. You should come on, mine's front and back. Yeah, mine was the yesterday, but and mine's tiny.
Then you have to picture.
Mine are cute. I can't write how to take pictures.
I remember it was pink. L. Justin.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's why we do this, is so we can help you improve. I mean, this isn't a writing class, but yeah, absolutely.
And then I remember seeing an N at the end.
Okay, did you have any problems? How did you mark your article?
Right after the end.
Because there was a lot more information that came out. This is, I mean, the reason why I want you guys to put it on here, or you're not going to write it on here, at least highlight it in here, so when you write your own piece, that way you don't have to go searching for your facts. You can either write them on here, or you can highlight it and put on your highlighted information. Either way, it's fun. I just want to make sure that you have your setup for your paper when we get ready to write. Every problem's figured out what kind of paper it was. Think?
You look pretty girly.
Pretty obvious.
Lip balm. Lip balm. Same. Give those to you. One of those delicious things.
Did you put it on?
Good job.
Justin, did you see that camera? No, I caught it.
No way.
I swear. That's hard.
All right. Is anybody else still working? Okay. Take your time, guys.
A minute left.
You guys still got time. Plenty of time.
Trent!
I got this.
He's looking like that. I did not.
That was so hot.
Alright, for everybody who's done, we got a few minutes left in class. I want you to think about something. Right now, I want you to think about what direction you're looking at in writing your paper. Whether you're looking at, whether you've already formulated, whether you're looking at going for the pro or the con on the New Deal. Justin, have a seat for about 15 minutes. What? That's what we're going to talk about as soon as everybody finishes up. We're going to talk about that.
I'm done.
Y'all done?
This is for
Yes, ma'am, I
They
did.
really scribbling at you.
Everybody's okay as long as you know what it
Trent, why is there a
means.
chunk missing out of it? Why is there a chunk missing out of it?
I feel like crap.
Cut it with a knife.
Why do you make me feel not place? I want to die now. I want to die. You should take
Have it. Oh, no, that's fine. Do you have any problem finding information and
Do
stuff?
you need like the size?
You don't know.
You're probably be on here.
You like our 10 panel?
Baby. So
But
pretty
some people
bad.
still don't believe it.
That's my this morning actually. I will scale that.
The first two numbers are 1, and the last number is 2.
Alright, folks, have a seat. Let's bring it back in. Got a couple things to talk about before we take off. First of all, have a seat, guys. Have a seat. Alright, for the last few minutes of class, put away your techno. Put the phones away, take the earbuds out for a minute, let's have a discussion. Alright. Which way did this article go? Was it pro or con? Anybody think it was con? Okay.
You wrote it on the top.
How do you
I didn't write it up here, but somebody did, so don't take what you find on those hard. Alright, Karen, give me one example of an artifact that you found or something you can use for your paper in that article. What was one thing you found?
how like the stuff you went through, like there's stuff you went through, kind of like all the stuff you went through. I used the axe and stuff.
Okay. Alright. Brandon, what did you find in there that made it seem like a pro to you?
How he always talked up about Roosevelt and all the other presidents that he talked about during the entire article. And he talked about how they're not dictators, even though other people think they act like dictators.
Okay. Josh?
I saw within the first 3 paragraphs of his analysis, and
Lizzie, have a seat, please.
giving him credit towards all the things he did and how he's not, as he's like a dictator and all this other.
Okay, but what makes it pro towards the New Deal?
Oh,
What makes this article pro toward the New Deal?
He talked about, in one paragraph, he asked a question saying, like, what then was all the major accomplishments of the first 3 administrations of the Roosevelt New Deal.
Okay.
He starts talking about in that, things like paragraph 7. He starts talking about, starts talking about all the like things that it did, like it's supposed to help like raise American morale and like
Okay.
Faith in democracy.
Okay, so ladies, please.
Raise hope.
So there was definitely. Go ahead, sir.
It goes like really in depth about the unemployment rate and how the New Deal made it better.
How it made it better. Okay, yeah.
Specifically had a paragraph where it said Roosevelt's ideas for the New Deal or something to that effect, and it just listed like
Hey, put that away, please.
strengthen capitalism or restore hope, and I just boxed all the important strengths words like restore, strengthen, save.
Keywords that put emphasis on good things to do with the program. So what I want you to do for an exit slip, I want you to write down right now, just from what we've read, the 2 articles, are you leaning toward pro or con and why? Yeah, that's fine. Just, that's okay. Give me a reason. If you're pro or con, tell me why. And if you are undecided, give me something to tell me why you're undecided. So pro or con, undecided, either way is fine, but tell me why. Don't just tell me pro or con or undecided. You're what? Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Half a sheet of paper's fine. Do your own work. Pro or con, undecided, and why.
If this article was, or if you are?
No, I want you, what your opinion right now, just from the articles that we've read, where are you standing as far as pro, con, or undecided? And give me a reason why.